So in this topic video, we're going to be talking about why kids changes things from a man's perspective. You know, when I got this told to me at my early 20s and was told constantly on waiting to have kids, I didn't understand what men really meant by this until I now have finally experienced this in myself in real time, man. You know, having children is a beautiful thing, and I don't regret my children at all. I currently have three. All of my children are under 5 at the time of this video, and I by far think this is the greatest experience of being a father at, in my adult years now. And I'm glad that I waited. I started at my late 20s, and my oldest is 5. And like I said, it's a rewarding experience, and I don't trade it for the world. But one thing for certain as a man, we have to understand that when a woman goes through the pregnancy phases, there is a real thing called postpartum depression that we don't truly understand that a woman goes through. And honestly, it's not even talked about enough. Women go through different changes of phases when being pregnant. And because it's not something that's talked about, we don't always understand and really fully understand their transitional phase of what they're going through as being a mother, especially if she's a new mother. For one thing, they're emotionally imbalanced, meaning that especially if they're nurturing a baby or just birthing a baby, they're saying that postpartum can last anywhere between 6 months up to 3 years. So that means that she's going to be up and down emotionally. And not only that, you're talking about not having adequate sleep. Now, if the mother of your children is breastfeeding, especially, that in itself, not only does it depletes the energy from that woman, but it also creates a hormone in them where they have to constantly be in the need of nurturing that baby. But also it creates so many different dynamics for that mother to now have to constantly be on an alert. There's a sense that happens even with you having kids, right? That it's a sense of anxiety in a sense where it's like you're trying to do everything you can to protect that baby, but also that to try to prevent anything from any harm happening to the baby. And so with women constantly being in their head in most cases, they're trying to do everything in their possible chance to make sure that they're doing everything they can for the baby. If they're doing enough for that baby, doing everything as they can for as a parent, as a partner. These are things that she's dealing with throughout her mind all the time. And so a lot of times where we as men need to really be able to focus on and practice during this time is exercising empathy. Okay. And this is not easy. This is easier said than done, because a lot of times you may experience some form of rejection in a lot of ways because of the fact the way that she used to be prior to the baby has now transitioned. Because she's more attentive to the baby, she's not as fully alert because she's nurturing the baby throughout the night. Even then, she's not in her full capacity because of the lack of sleep thereof, and also having to be constantly tugged on, pulled on from the baby. And this just goes in different phases, from just having a newborn to toddler phase. She's overly stimulated. And anybody that have multiple kids know exactly what I'm talking about. Children are energy. When they're pulling on you, screaming on you, don't have a way of fully communicating, it can be exhausting just in a short time of having more than one kid at one time. And I got 3. And I'm telling you guys, man, like for real, this stuff ain't no joke. It ain't for the faint of heart. I see why they say it take a village, because we now in a day and age where we're not even having community like that. A lot of parents are being raised in single family homes, or, 1 or 2 people helping. And a lot of times it's just depending on one family, single family, taking care of the responsibilities of children. And this is a dynamic for a majority of the people that I know that's dealing with this. So if your partner is experiencing a change in her behavior, this is a practice where you have to literally practice patience and a lot of empathy, because I promise you, the woman that you think you have, she's going to change for a season, for a while. And I've heard this a lot from a lot of other older men that have been through this phase and have explained this to me. And now that I see this in real time, I try to remind myself of that, to not try to take things personally when there's rejection taking effect. And when I say rejection, meaning just in advances of sex, you have to practice intimacy outside the bedroom. See, a lot of things with women is that they're constantly in their head. They make justifications with their emotions. And so that's more dominant than anything else. You know, us men, we're more logical thinkers. I mean, a lot of times it don't take much for us to get going, but for a woman, they have to be, you know, stimulated. And when a kid is involved constantly, that overly stimulates them to where they're depleted of all energy, to where 9 times out of 10, they just want to relax. They just want to be in a place of just like, I just want to be able to just have me time without me having to give myself to something else outside of myself. Meaning that if she's having to go, you know, take care of a baby, go to work, take care of the household chores, and then also satisfy you, guarantee 9 times out of 10, somebody gonna be neglected in the capacity. And if you're not reassuring her enough, rest assured she's gonna find a reason to not make your needs a priority, unfortunately. So I'm just saying it's a good time to really practice this, and I'm learning this again in real time, and just want to share this well for a lot of men, because I know a lot of times when we face the rejection, we don't deal with rejection well as much as we want to admit it, and a lot of times it can divert us to doing things that may ultimately put more detriment on the relationship. We tend to match that energy in other ways, and that matching energy depends on that individual. But again, no judgment, just bringing understanding and awareness to what you're going to have to expect when having kids and why it changes things. So I tell you the truth, man, if you really love your woman, you really care about her, you really want to make the dynamic of your relationship work, look, man, you got to be able to just stay on your purpose. Understand that it's a phase. It is something that will overcome in some due time, you know, and this is something that I'm encouraged by men to know that. But also, too, man, protect your peace. Don't take anything personal. Stay on your purpose. And at the end of the day, you know, do what is best for the children. If you can definitely help to do what you need to do to help bring some level of assistance to the woman and making her life a little bit easier, you'll be winning brownie points in the long run doing just that, you know. And again, you know, everyone's household and dynamic is different. But one thing I can know this is understanding that, man, please do not rush having no kids, man. I promise you, they can wait and it can come a whole later time frame. I'm telling you, because once they come, man, it changes everything. Your whole life, your whole priority set is just shift on them and doing everything that's best for them. So if I would encourage it, make sure that you do it with the right person and under covenant, especially, all right? So again, this is your boy, Daquarius Beverly. If you like this video, share it with someone and like it, and tell me how being a father has impacted you. I just wanted to share this content in relations because, man, I know a lot of men be dealing with the exact same thing that I'm dealing with. And, you know I'm not alone. You know, parenthood is definitely a rewarding experience, but, you know, there's just some things that, you know, changes a lot of the dynamics of your livelihood, especially when it comes to having children. And, you know, a lot of times we don't really consider the possible outcomes when dealing with a particular woman who is having children and what she has to go through, and just not fully understanding that, you know what, she's dealing with some emotional imbalances that may not necessarily be something that we're potentially ready for or fully aware about. So I hope this video helped you. And again, if you like it, tell me in the comments on how this video helped. And again, I'll be making sure to share more content and related to, you know, my life experiences in hopes that it can inspire somebody else. All right, then, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time in the next video. Peace.